Thanks for joining us for today's workout. I'm so glad you're here. Today we have Coach Pam, who's going to show you how to do each of the exercises with her own body weight and with dumbbells, including ways to modify each exercise to your fitness level. So if any of the exercises are a little too easy, she's going to show you how to make them a little more challenging. And then we have super success story Ken here, who's going to be doing exercises both body weight and resistance bands. And he's also going to show you how to do the exercise a little bit easier, just in case any of the exercises are too challenging. So please refer to either Pam or Ken as we go through this workout and modify it to your fitness level. And just be sure to use really good form, do your best, and let's get after it. All right, this exercise is called hammer curls. It is for both your biceps and your forearms. You want to go ahead and stand about shoulder width apart and have your elbows right at your side. And you want to make sure that your palms are facing each other, so they're not facing up, they're facing each other the entire time. That's how they're working your forearms. So go ahead and keep your elbows at your side and curl up and hold for a second and nice and slow down. Of course, Ken has resistance bands. If this is a little bit too challenging, you can get lighter resistance bands or no resistance at all. But the key thing is to keep your elbow at your side the entire time and come up and then nice and slow down. Of course, Pam is using dumbbells, holding for a second and nice and slow all the way down, keeping your palms facing each other the entire time so that you're not only working your biceps, but your forearms as well. Let's do one more up and then all the way down nice and slow. And let's move on to one more minute of cardio. All right, let's do burpees. And go ahead and go. Go ahead and kick your feet out and jump high to the sky, just like they're doing. Excellent, just like that. Good. If you need to make this a little bit easier, this is a pretty challenging exercise. You can just reach to the sky and then do toe touches. So go ahead and show them how to do that, Ken, just like that. Yeah, and if you need to make it a little bit even easier, you can not even reach for the sky, or just, toe touch, and you can even go slower, just like that. Or you can also take a break. If you need to make it more challenging, you can even include a push-up, like Pam's doing, or even jump higher. Now this exercise is really challenging, so it's going to be pretty tough to do normal type of burpees for a full minute. So if you need to modify them, just like Pam and Ken are doing, you can just do toe touches and jump to the sky just like this. The key is just modifying it to your own fitness level. Go at your own pace. We only have 5 more seconds left. You're doing great. 2, 1, and that's it. Let's go to the next resistance exercise. All right, this next exercise is called planks for your abdominals and entire core. Let's go ahead and get started. You want to rise up on your forearms and on your toes, keeping your back totally straight and your abs tight. This is a tough one. To make it a little bit easier, you can go down on your knees, just like Ken's doing here, or if you need to, you can even take a little break. Now, to make them a little bit more challenging if you need to, you can do what's called a lateral arm reach and raise out for a few seconds, and then alternate other side. Good, just a few more seconds. You're doing great. And that's it. Let's go back to 1 minute of cardio. All right, now let's march in place. Ready, set, go. Good job. Now, if you need to make this easier, you can not, bring your knees up quite as high or just even go slower. If you need to take a break and even shake your legs out, that's totally fine. Go at your own pace. If you need to make it a little bit more difficult, you can actually start jogging in place. You can do high knees, really bring those knees up high. You can do butt kicks, just like that. Good. Yeah, and be sure to just kind of vary this. This can kind of get boring throughout the full minute. So if you want to vary to do some high knees, to jogging in place, to then butt kicks, to then taking a break if you need to, that's totally fine. Go at your own pace, but also push yourself. You guys are doing really well. You have less than 20 seconds. All right, let's finish strong. Good job. If you need to make it easier, you can not bring your knees up quite as high. You have less than 10 seconds. 5 seconds left. You guys are doing really good. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called push-up isometrics. It is for your chest. Go ahead and get in the push-up position, and we're just going to hold it here the entire time. Of course, this is a pretty challenging exercise, so if you need to, you can go ahead and drop down to your knees and just hold this. Is not only going to work your chest, but your shoulders and triceps as well. And if you have to, you can go ahead and take a break too. If it's a little too challenging, that's totally fine. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can go ahead and lower yourself and hold in this position. Good. And so we're just going to hold this in an isometric position for just 3 more seconds. 2, 1, and back up. And let's go do a minute of cardio. All right, let's now do jump squats. Go. So they're squatting all the way down, making sure that their knees aren't going farther forward than their toes. They're just squatting down and then jumping up as high as they can. This is another pretty challenging exercise. So to make it a little bit easier, you can just stand up, squat down, and just stand up without jumping, or not even squat down quite as far. If you need to, you can take a break at any time. Again, this is a really challenging exercise. If you need to make this more challenging, you're just squatting down faster and then really jumping up higher and doing faster. Good, that's excellent. Now this is going to be hard to maintain because this is a really hard exercise. So you can do what's called interval training and really go hard and fast for a few seconds and then slow it down and even take a break if you need to. You guys have just a little less than 10 seconds left. I'm sorry, 10 seconds now. 8 seconds left. You're doing great. Finish up strong. You got just 3 seconds left. Good job, and that's it. Let's go on to the next exercise. All right, the next exercise is called wall sits. You want to go ahead and have your feet in front of you, have your back against the wall. We're just kind of using this pillar, but you should use a flat wall and just squat down so that your legs are about parallel to the ground, just like this. Great, and if that's a little bit too challenging, you can come up a little bit and hold right there. Or if you need to, you can even take a little break if you have to. Great, and Pam, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can do what's called alternate kicks, just like that. So she's alternating the legs in front of her, and she can even make it more challenging by doing alternate toe touches, just like that. Good, you're doing great. Now this is for your entire legs, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and buttocks, and you're doing great. Let's go 5 more seconds. Excellent, now that is wall sits. Now we'll go on to 1 minute of cardio. All right, now let's do total body extensions for 1 minute. Let's go now. Good, so they're just crouching down, touching their shins and reaching up as high as they can. And then squatting down, touching their shins all the way up. To make this a little bit easier, you don't have to go all the way down. You could just kind of touch your waist and then just go up. Or even just march in place, whatever, just keep your heart rate going the entire time. To make this harder, you can go faster, really increase the speed, and even do some jumps. And you can even go all the way down and touch your toes if you want, and jump really high, increase the speed. This is gonna be really tough to maintain for the full minute, so you can vary the intensity if you need to. Yeah, just go back to the other way. You guys are doing great. You have just 15 seconds left. Good job. Use really good form. Make sure your knees never go forward above your toes, and you have just 5 seconds left. You're doing great. Finish strong. 2, 1, and that's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called front shoulder raise. You want to have your feet pretty close together, about shoulder width apart, and your palms facing down with either resistance bands in your hand or dumbbells. And go ahead and raise up to right in front of your face. Hold for a second and come down nice and slow. You want to have just a slight bend in your elbow. And come up and hold, and then nice and slow down. Excellent. You guys are doing really good. And if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can just use lighter resistance bands, or you can take a break, for a couple seconds. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you just use heavier weights. Though this is a pretty challenging exercise, so make sure you don't sacrifice form for just, going heavier weights. So really focus on getting right in front of your face and holding for a second, and then coming down nice and slow. You guys are doing great. Make sure to keep your abs nice and tight and be sure to breathe. Let's do one more. And nice and slow down, and then a minute of cardio. All right, let's do mountain climbers and go. This is a pretty challenging exercise. So if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can go slower or even just alternate your feet. Yeah, just one at a time, just like Ken's doing, just like that. And if you need to take a break, that's totally fine. Most people probably will. This is a challenging exercise. If you need to make this more challenging, you can really increase the speed, just like Pam's doing, though this will be tough to maintain. You can always do what's called interval training, so that 5 seconds you're going really fast, then a couple seconds you're taking a break, then another few seconds you're going really slow. Just go at your own pace. Now you guys got a little more than 20 seconds left. You're doing great. If you need to take a break, that's totally fine. Keep up the good work. And really breathe. Good job. Finish strong. You're doing great. You got 10 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Let's go on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called tricep extension. You can either use dumbbells or resistance bands. You want to go ahead and put your hands up above your head with your elbows to the side of your head, just like this. And you want to keep your elbows there the entire time. So go ahead and lower down your hands and keep your elbow here the entire time, so it's almost like a hinge. You're just dropping your hands behind your head and then up. Good job. Perfect. Make sure that you keep your abs nice and tight and your back straight. And if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can use lighter resistance bands or take a break halfway through. And to make it a little bit more challenging, since we're using weights, we can just use a little bit heavier weight. But make sure you use really good form. Come back nice and slow and keep your elbow there the entire time. Good. Let's do one more. Excellent. Now let's go do another minute of cardio. All right, now let's jump rope and ready, go. And if you don't have a jump rope, if this is a little bit too difficult, it's a pretty challenging exercise to do for a full minute, you can just kind of simulate it without a rope. So as you can see, Ken here, he's just kind of jumping and moving his arms. So that's great. You're doing really good. If you need to make it easier, you can just kind of march in place and move your hands. The key thing is not necessarily doing this exercise perfect. It's totally fine if you don't know how to jump rope. The key thing is keeping your heart rate up the entire time. Pam's doing really good. Of course, to make it more challenging, she can go faster or double jumps or whatever she needs. And that's totally fine. Keep up the good work. You can even do jumping jacks. You can march in place. You can do toe touches. The key thing again is keeping your heart rate up the entire 1 minute. And you have just 15 seconds left to go. You're doing really great. Let's try to go a little bit faster for 5 more seconds. Good job. In these last 6 seconds, you can start slowing it down a little bit. You got 3 seconds. Good job, finish strong, and let's go on to the next exercise. This exercise is called Superman's. It is for your core and particularly your lower back. As you can see, they're laying down on their stomachs with their arms straight ahead of them. And go ahead and let's raise up in the Superman position. They're bringing both their feet and their hands up as high as they can, holding for just a brief second and then coming down slow. Now, if this is a little bit too challenging, you can just do your legs, so you can keep your front down on the ground and he's just raising his legs. Or if you need to take a little break, that's totally fine too. Pam here, to make it a little bit more challenging, she's gonna raise up, pause for a second or two, and then come back extra slow, just like that. So come up, pause for a second or two, and then come back super slow. All right, let's just do a few more reps. You guys are doing great. You really feel this in all your lower back and your core here. So one more repetition. Good, let's do 1 minute of cardio. All right, let's do 1 minute of jumping jacks. Go ahead and get started. And I want you to modify the intensity specific to your fitness level. You can either increase the intensity by going faster or adding in some jumps if you need to. Or if you want to decrease the intensity, you can do them a little bit slower, or even just use your arms, or even do half jacks. The key is modifying it to your fitness level. Keep up the good work, you're doing great. Now for those of you who are just doing the 15-minute workout, I've got good news for you. You only have about 40 more seconds left in this workout. You've already trained each of your major muscle groups and included cardio as well. For the remainder of this 1 minute of cardio, just continue doing jumping jacks, and then I want you to do about 2 to 3 minutes of a cool down, either by doing jumping jacks or some light cardio exercise like toe touches, marching in place, anything like that that gradually decreases the intensity over the next 2 to 3 minutes. Next, I strongly recommend you stretch each of your major muscle groups by clicking the stretching link below and following the recommended stretches. This is going to decrease your muscle soreness and the risk of injury. And finally, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back because you just completed the 15-minute workout. You did a really great job. I'm really proud of you and so glad you joined us. I look forward to you being on the next workout. And for those of you that are continuing on to the 22-minute workout or the 30-minute workout, continue on. We're almost there and we're going to move on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called bicep isometrics. You can either use resistance bands or dumbbells with your feet about shoulder width apart, and you're just gonna curl up and hold about halfway up in a static position. So the key is you're not moving up and down, and this exercise you're just holding it. So you're really fighting the resistance the entire time. And you can vary the position each time you do this exercise, or even each set if you wanna maybe raise it up a little bit, just like that, or even have it in a little bit lower position, just like that. And if you need to lower the the intensity to make it a little bit easier. You can use lighter resistance bands or even just take a break after a couple seconds. That's totally fine. To make it a little bit more challenging, you can use a little bit heavier dumbbells so you're getting in that static position and holding, keeping your elbows right at your side, and you'll really feel your biceps burning. So let's do about 2 more seconds and then move on to a minute of cardio. Let's go. All right, it's time to do jumping jacks. Ready, go. Good job. To make this a little bit easier, you can just kind of do jumping jacks without moving your legs, just moving your arms. Yeah, just like that. And of course, you can vary the intensity or how fast you go. If you want to make them more difficult, you can really increase the speed or even add some jumps in between. Yeah, just like that. That'll really get tough. That'll be tough to maintain, but you can alternate it throughout this workout. You guys are doing really good. You're almost halfway there. Good job. And after you've caught your breath, you can go back to normal jumping jacks. Good job. You guys got just about 20 seconds more. Let's finish up strong. Good, so you can go 5 seconds of really pushing yourself. And then back to going a little bit slower. Yeah, just keep alternating. You have less than 10 seconds. You guys are doing great. Finish strong with these jumping jacks. 5 seconds left. Good job. 3, 2, 1, and let's move on to the next exercise. This exercise is called Good Mornings. It is for your lower back and will target your hamstrings as well. So you want to go ahead and stand about shoulder width apart, just like this, and then put your hands behind your head, like so, and you just want to lower your body down until your back is about parallel to the ground. Hold for a second and then come up nice and slow, just like that. And you'll really feel it in your lower back and in your hamstrings. Now, if this is a little bit too difficult, you can put your hands in front on your chest, just like that, or not go down quite as far. And if you need to, you can even take a little break. That's totally fine. Go at your own pace. If you need to make this a little more challenging, pause for a second and then come up nice and slow. Good, and go all the way down and really arch your back and hold for a second and then come up nice and slow. Just like that. Let's do 1 more repetition. All the way down and then back up nice and slow. And good, let's go do 1 more minute of cardio. All right, let's do bench step-ups and ready, go. You can see Pam here has got a pretty high bench, so it's gonna be pretty challenging for her. But make sure that your toes do not go over your toes. You're standing straight up and then back down nice and slow. Ken's making it a little bit easier by having a lot shorter bench. You can use something like a phone book or any level bench you want. You can even use the stairs at your house. Just modify this exercise depending on how high the bench is, the harder it'll be. And if you need to make it more challenging, you can increase the speed. Or if you need to make it easier, you can even go slower. You can even, at a point, if this gets too challenging, just march in place. That's totally fine. You have about 20 seconds left. You're doing really great. Good job. Now, if Pam gets too tired after going this tall bench the entire time, she could then, just march in place, yeah, like she's doing. You guys have less than 10 seconds left, and you're doing really good. 3 seconds left. Finish up strong. 1, and that's it. Let's go on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called leg raises, and it is for your abdominals. Go ahead and get started. You want to lay flat on your back with your hands by your side, and actually you can support your hands underneath your buttocks and just lift your legs straight up and then back nice and slow. And to make these a little bit easier, if you need to, you can bring just your knees up to your chest and then back nice and slow. And if you have to, you can take a little break. That's totally fine. Go at your own pace. And to make these a little bit more difficult, if these are too easy, you can do a crunch at the top and then slow down, and then a crunch at the top and then slow down. And you don't always have to do them this challenging way. You can modify them by doing them the normal way and then a crunch at the top, or even then back to their knees to your chest. So always modify it specific to your own fitness level. And good, looks like we're done. Now let's do 1 minute of cardio exercise. Okay, let's do 1 minute of jogging in place, modifying it to your fitness level. Go ahead and get started, guys. You can jog a little bit faster to increase the intensity, or even do high knees, or even butt kicks, or you can vary them to continually increasing the intensity, or to make it a little bit easier, you can just march in place. Again, just do whatever is at your own fitness level. Go at your own pace. Now, for those of you just doing the 22-minute workout, you are almost done. You only have about 40 to 45 seconds left. You've done each of your major muscle groups plus 3 more large muscle groups the second time around, and cardio, of course. So after this 1 minute of cardio, I want you to cool down, just do 2 to 3 more minutes of continuing to jog in place, and then I want you to stretch each of your major muscle groups by clicking the link below and doing those recommended stretches. All right, and you've just completed this 22-minute workout. Way to go, I'm so proud of you. You did a really great job. I'm so glad you joined us today, and look forward to seeing you on the next workout video. For those of you that are continuing on to the 30-minute workout, keep going strong. You have just 8 minutes left. We're gonna continue doing the rest of the 4 major muscle groups and doing cardio in between. So keep up the good work, and let's move on to the next exercise. So this exercise is called squats, and it is for your entire leg, your quadriceps, hamstrings, and butt. And let's go ahead and get started. You want your feet about shoulder width apart, and then you want to just squat down and stand back up. It's really important that your knees do not go farther forward than your toes, so you really want to sit back. Now, if this is a little bit too challenging, you can use a chair like Ken's doing, and to make it even easier, you can just do partial squats, so don't go all the way down, just like that, or you can even do what's called isometric squats. So you're just squatting down and holding just like that. And Pam's doing it with a resistance band. She's just stepping on it, grabbing the bottom of the resistance, so there's good resistance, and you can see her knees aren't going further forward than her toes, and she's squatting back. And she can also use dumbbells for this exercise. Same foot position, she would just have dumbbells by her side. Great job, guys. Now let's go on to 1 minute of cardio. Okay, on to toe touches and go. You can either alternate touching your toes just like this, or touch both of them just like Pam's doing here. To make it a little bit easier, you can just go down not quite as far, just touch your shins maybe, or even just touch your knees. And of course, you can even go slower or take a break if you need to. Go at your own pace. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you can raise your hands all the way up and go all the way down, touch the ground, raise up. And if you really want to make it challenging, you can even jump at the end. So good job. You guys are halfway there. You got 30 seconds. You can alternate the different ways you do it. Sometimes you might want to go all the way down and touch your toes. Next time you might want to just touch your shins. Then the third time just touch your knees. And you can vary the speed as well. Kind of mix it up. You have just 15 seconds left. You guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. All right, you have just 10 seconds now. Finish strong. You're doing really well. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Let's move on to the next exercise. All right, guys, this exercise is called bench dips. It is for your triceps, and you want to go ahead and have a bench and a chair, and go ahead and put your feet up on the chair, or you can have just your feet out in front of you. This is a little bit more challenging way. Go ahead and start dipping down. You just want to lower your body all the way down, and then come back up nice and slow. Good. Ken's making it a little bit easier by having his feet out in front of him. And he can even make it easier by bringing his feet up like this. Good. And if you need to, you can take a break in between. This is a pretty challenging exercise. So if you have to pause, that's totally fine. If Pam wanted to make it even more challenging, she can move the chair out further from her, or even put a weight on her lap. But this is pretty challenging as is. You could always start out doing it this way, and if it becomes too challenging halfway through, you can push out the chair and just have your feet on the ground and finish the set. So let's do one more repetition. You guys are doing great. Good job. Now let's go on to 1 minute of cardio. All right, now let's jump rope and ready, go. And if you don't have a jump rope, if this is a little bit too difficult, it's a pretty challenging exercise to do for a full minute, you can just kind of simulate it without a rope. So as you can see, Ken here, he's just kind of jumping and moving his arms. So that's great. You're doing really good. If you need to make it easier, you can just kind of march in place and move your hands. The key thing is not necessarily doing this exercise perfect. It's totally fine if you don't know how to jump rope. The key thing is keeping your heart rate up the entire time. Pam's doing really good. Of course, to make it more challenging, she can go faster or double jumps or whatever she needs. And that's totally fine. Keep up the good work. You can even do jumping jacks. You can march in place. You can do toe touches. The key thing, again, is keeping your heart rate up the entire 1 minute. And you have just 15 seconds left to go. You're doing really great. Let's try to go a little bit faster for 5 more seconds. Good job. In these last 6 seconds, you can start slowing it down a little bit. You get 3 seconds. Good job, finish strong, and let's go on to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called the shoulder press for your shoulders. You want to go ahead and sit in a chair like this or stand straight with your feet about shoulder width apart and either use resistance bands or dumbbells, and go ahead and have your hands right by the side of your shoulders, palms facing away and straight up above your head till they're almost touching, and then down nice and slow. Good, all the way up and then come down nice and slow all the way down. Good. If you need to make this a little bit easier, you can adjust the resistance bands or just use lighter resistance bands, or if you need to, just take a break in between. Of course, if you need to make this a little bit more challenging, you can use harder dumbbell or heavier dumbbells. So come down nice and slow and then all the way up. If you feel any type of strain in your back, you might want to sit in a chair just like Ken has. Really keep your abs nice and tight the entire time and breathe. And let's do 2 more repetitions. Nice and slow down. Last one. Great. Now let's go do 1 more minute of cardio. All right, now let's jog in place and go. Good job. If you need to make this a little bit easier, you can just kind of march in place, just like this. Of course, at any time you can rest and take a break if you need to. It's very important that you just go at your own pace, but you also want to push yourself. If you need to make it a little bit more challenging, you can go faster. Really jog in place fast. Good job. Or you can do high knees. That increases the intensity considerably. Or do what's called butt kicks. Good job. And you can vary these so that the whole minute doesn't get boring. Kind of alternate between jogging in place fast, doing some high knees, doing some butt kicks. If that gets too difficult, you can march in place. You guys are doing great. You have less than 20 seconds left. Keep up the good work. Good job. 15 seconds left. Good. At any time, if you need to take a break, that's totally fine, but really push yourself for this minute. You got less than 10 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Good job. On to the next exercise. All right, this exercise is called the bench press. You can either use resistance bands or a bench and dumbbells, and go ahead and get started. As you can see, Ken is holding down on the resistance band, so there's good resistance. He has it behind his back, and he's just pushing straight up with his palms away from him, and then backing down nice and slow. Good, and Pam's doing the same thing. You can see her palms are away from her the entire time. She's coming all the way down, and then coming up together, squeezing her chest, and then down nice and slow. To make this easier, you obviously just use lighter resistance, or if you need to take a break, that's totally fine. To make this a little bit more challenging, you just use a little bit heavier of a dumbbell. Good job. Up and then down, nice and slow. Let's do 2 more repetitions. Last one. And let's go do a minute of cardio. All right, back to 1 minute of cardio. Go ahead and get started. Do whatever cardio exercise suits you. You can do whatever you prefer. High knees, jumping jacks, running in place, toe touches, whatever you want to do for this final minute of cardio, because guess what? You are almost done with this workout. You have just 40 seconds left in this workout before you get to your cool down and then stretch. You've now gone through each of the major muscle groups twice now for a really effective full body workout routine with fat burning cardio. You should feel really good about completing this workout, because not only did you complete the full 30 minutes, it was also a really well balanced routine targeting each of the 7 major muscle groups and doing different exercises than your previous workout and different exercises in the next workout that we'll have you doing next time, which is really important. All right, finish up strong. You only have about 25 seconds left before I want you to cool down using light cardio for about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then click the link below for some really good stretches. You're doing great. Only about 15 more seconds. Keep up the good work. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7. You're doing excellent. Good job, guys. You're almost done. And 3, 2, 1. Excellent job. Good job, everyone. I'm really proud of you. You did a great job. You made it through the 30-minute workout routine. So proud of you. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing you in our next workout routine.